The wind had picked up across the fields of Hollow Creek, carrying the scent of rain and the crisp tang of autumn apples. It was the kind of afternoon where even the birds seemed to be in a hurry. Sam Dillard, a quiet farmer in his early 50s, leaned on his rake outside his old wooden barn. He wasn't the type to trust easily. Life had made him that way. Loss, war, loneliness, it all stacked up over the years like cordwood in winter. His orchard, a patch of golden delicious trees, was the only thing he still tended with care. So when he saw two small figures darting between the trees, grabbing apples and stuffing them into their oversized coats, his chest tightened with a mix of anger and protectiveness. He tossed the rake aside and stormed toward them, boots crunching over dry leaves. "Hey," he shouted, startling the girls. "Get away from there!" The older of the two, maybe 12 or 13, stepped in front of the younger one, holding her arm out like a barrier. They looked like stray kittens, covered in dirt, hair tangled, faces pale from the cold. Their clothes hung off them like they hadn't had a proper meal in days. "I said get!" Sam barked again, towering over them. The girls froze. The smaller one's eyes welled up, but she didn't cry. The older one spoke, her voice barely audible. "We're not stealing. We're hungry." Sam scowled. "That's still stealing." The older girl drew a shaky breath, then said the words that stopped time for Sam Dillard. "Our parents died today. There was a fire, our house burned down. We don't have anywhere to go." For a moment, all Sam heard was the wind in the trees. No lies in their voices. No anger. Just hollow grief. He looked closer now. Their shoes were scorched at the soles. The younger one clutched a ragged teddy bear half burnt at the ears. The older girl's sleeve was torn, revealing a raw patch on her elbow. Sam's heart, long buried behind a wall of stone, cracked wide open. He took a slow breath and said, softly, "What are your names?" "I'm Ellie," the older one replied. "This is my sister, June. She's 8. "Come with me," Sam said, turning away. The girls hesitated. He looked back. "You're not in trouble. I got stew on the stove. You can eat and rest. Then we'll figure something out." Inside the farmhouse, the air was warm with the scent of simmering beef and potatoes. Sam hadn't had company in years. He made up 2 plates and watched the girls eat like they'd never seen food before. They didn't talk much, but Ellie eventually opened up. Their parents, Dean and Molly Halstead, had been kind, hard-working folks. The fire was a freak accident, started in the kitchen. A neighbor tried to help, but by the time the girls escaped, the flames had already taken their parents. No relatives nearby. No money. Just 2 sisters walking aimlessly until they saw the orchard. Until Sam found them. Sam sat in his rocking chair long after they'd gone to sleep on the couch, watching the fire burn low on the hearth. Something shifted inside him that night. The next morning, Sam called the sheriff to confirm their story. Everything checked out. The Halstead house had burned down just 20 miles south. The authorities had no leads, no family to send the girls to. Sam stared at the phone after hanging up. The easy thing would be to let the state take them. But as he looked at their tiny figures huddled together under an old quilt on his couch, he knew he couldn't do that. He made a decision. The next few weeks were full of learning for all 3 of them. Ellie helped in the kitchen, learning how to knead bread, pick herbs from the backyard garden. June followed Sam like a shadow, helping him water the apple trees, asking endless questions. Sam wasn't used to laughter in the house, or sticky handprints on the kitchen table. But he found himself smiling more. Fixing up the extra bedroom. Teaching June how to use a hammer. Listening to Ellie hum while folding laundry. But it wasn't all easy. One night, Ellie had a breakdown, throwing a cup across the kitchen and screaming that nothing felt real. That she wanted her mom. June had nightmares for a while, waking up crying and calling for her dad. Sam didn't have answers. But he sat with them. Held them. Let them feel safe in their pain. Winter came hard that year, but the little house was full of warmth. Sam enrolled the girls in school. bought June a red coat she refused to take off. Ellie brought home books from the library and started reading to June at night. And somewhere along the way, they stopped being guests. They became family. Spring brought apple blossoms to the orchard, and Sam built a swing from the tallest tree. June painted a sign, Dillard Orchard and Daughters. Ellie baked her first pie using apples they picked together. The townsfolk, at first skeptical, started to notice the change in Sam. The gruff old loner had softened. He came to church again. He laughed at the diner. He showed up to school plays. At the end of the school year, Ellie won an essay contest. The prompt, "Who is your hero?" She stood on the stage and read it out loud. My hero didn't wear a cape. He wore dusty boots and a flannel shirt. He thought I was stealing apples the first time he saw me, and he had every reason to chase us off. But instead, he gave us a home. He made us feel loved when everything else was ashes. And he never once asked for anything in return. My hero's name is Sam Dillard. He's our grandpa now. Maybe not by blood, but by heart. Sam sat in the crowd, tears in his eyes, June on his lap, clapping with all her might. And as the auditorium roared with applause, Sam thought about that first day, when two scared little girls reached for apples and instead found hope. He would never forget the way they looked at him that day, trembling and hungry. And he'd never stop being grateful that he didn't turn them away. Because sometimes, family finds you when you least expect it. And sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness become the biggest turning points in a life.